Hello everyone. For my lightning talk, I won't be doing a lot of talking, it will be mostly shouting. I want to know, folks, who wants to be a millionaire? Excellent. Woohoo! Let's go. Well, for this show, there's no money actually involved, and the image was, fair use policy, so please don't sue me. But I will need, come on, don't boo me for this. I will need a couple of volunteers, so get ready to play Who Wants to Be a Millionaire Python Iterables Edition. What are we doing today? The levels we're going for, we're starting at the bottom at the LLM level, then we're going to climb to junior level, mid level, senior level, and if we reach the peak, we're going to play for Guido level. This is what we are set out to do. Question number 1, to warm up, can I get a brave volunteer very quickly? Someone who's okay to shout, I swear this is going to be easy. Come on, folks. Excellent. I see a volunteer up there. I see two, actually. So let's go with the person at the very back, because it's easier to describe where you are. Very well. So what is the output of the following Python program? It's this one. So option A, option B, C, and D. But wait. There's a help. Do you want to use the base64 decode of the options? Yeah? Of course you want. So is it option A, B, C, or D? You got this. I hope you don't have like dyslexia or anything. Option A. Do you folks agree? Is it option A? By applause, who thinks it's option A? And you are correct. Congratulations, you're now a junior developer. Now, for question 2, going from junior to mid, who wants to play with me? Is it the... Okay, excellent. Also at the... No, not at the back, the person that said before. So you right there. Yeah, I got you. All right, so what is the output of the following Python program? Take a quick look. All right, is it A, class generator, B, class gen expr, C, class list, or D, class tuple? Wait, there's a help. Do you want to know what an LLM replied to this question? So ChatGPT said it's option A. Do you want to go with option A, or do you think not a good idea? Okay, A. Folks, by applause, who thinks it's option A? Not as unanimous, but still correct. So it was yes, class generator, congratulations, you're now a mid-level developer. Folks, third question. From mid-level to senior, I need a brave volunteer to play. Someone from this side, maybe? No? No one is brave? No? So going back to excellent. At the back, close to the exit door in case the question is very difficult. Out of the 20 tools in the module itertools, how many of those are iterables? Option A, 19, option B, 20, option C, 1, or option D, 0. But wait, you don't have to answer right away. There's a help. If you want, you can get help from someone from the audience. Do you want to get help, or are you okay? You'd like to get help. Okay, you can ask anyone, including me. Okay, so you have somewhere over there? A, do you think it's option A? Folks, by applause, who thinks it's option A? Okay, and you are correct, if the clicker works. Again, very well done, folks. You're now, the two of you, you're sharing a senior position. Now for the final question, from senior level to Guido level, who wants to play? Excellent. I like your mustache. What is the output of the following Python program? Now, I'm going to zoom out because it doesn't really matter whether you can read it or not. Option A, 1800, B, 0, C, Lithuania, heart, snake, or option D, syntax error. Wait, you don't have to answer right away. Do you want to get help? I can flip the options if it helps. Also, the first 3 questions, the correct answer was A. Just saying. So what is it going to be? I have 30 seconds left, which means you have no time left. A, B, C, or D? D. It is D because I forgot a parenthesis. Congratulations, you're now Guido. Round of applause for our volunteers. And now for something completely different, if you want a UV cheat sheet. Thank you, folks.
Okay, folks. Who here has actually built an agent? Like, do you know what one is? 2, 3, 4, 5 people in that room. Okay, you need to increase this number. Stat. Because it's not that hard to build an agent, folks. Like, it's actually just about 300 lines of code. All this AI boogeyman, all these code review things that you see is just 300 lines of code running in a loop with some strings on top. Folks, it's not hard. The thing that scares you about your career when all the rest is just a for loop. So easy to learn. You throw some LLM tokens in there and you end up kind of like this. So come to my talk on Friday. I'll be closing out the keynote and I'll be able to get into this in more details. You'll probably somewhere here, I call this the people development stage with AI. But employers now are calling this the curiosity stage because they don't hire on the left side of the bar anymore. Because it's been a year of candidates who've been curious with AI and they've been playing with AI and they've learned how to build agents. And so they just don't hire on the left side of the bar anymore. They want people that are up on the top right there who know these fundamentals. If I was to ask you to reverse the linked list, you'd be like, probably, it's like, why are you shit testing me? Right? This is the same thing. This is the same fundamental knowledge. What is a primary key? What is an agent? An agent is this while true loop. If you remember back in the days of ChatGPT, we used to generate some code, used to copy and paste it from your IDE back into, you generate some code for your web browser back into your IDE and it compiles incorrectly and you copy and paste it backwards and forwards a couple different times. That's all really an agent really is. It's just automated the copy and pasting, folks, and it's exposed some tools. So here on the third line, you've got the user input, the user prompt. You sign it into the array. You whack it into on line 4. You send it off to a REST API for inferencing. There's no memory on that server side, folks. There's no memory. This array just gets bigger and bigger and bigger. Spoilers, context engineering is just memory management. It's all about managing how big that array gets, folks. So this is the big scary boogeyman that everyone's scared is going to take their jobs. Let me give you a quick demo in the short amount of time I've got. Cool. So I've built a little over here before this, and it's like, lol, hello. Let's see if this works. Cool. Hey, Claude, how's it going? Now, one thing in the last year or the last 2 years has made these things really good is you can do something called a tool registration. So I can right here just go, hey, I'm in Lithuania. What's the weather like? And this is like the hello world of like AI coding agents. In the inferencing loop and how to do a tool registration. Here is a tool registration. And now when I talk about the weather, it's going to want to invoke a method called getWeather, and it's parsed out Lithuania, and it's done a tool registration. So let's get into it. That is our first tool. Because what happens is once you've done that, the server side has no capability. It's the client that has the capability to execute a tool. So what it does is it goes, hey, what's the weather? And it goes, I don't know, mate. You said that you've got weather capability, so you check the response, and then you go, well, the server wants me to execute a tool and automatically copy and paste that into the array and send it off for more inferencing. It's that simple. That's how it works. So let's have a quick look here. We've got a file here called riddle.txt. Go run read file, read.go. Yo, Claude, I've got a file here called riddle.txt. Can you solve me this riddle? Cool. So what I've done here is instead of doing a weather registration, I've just registered in a capability to execute read file, as in like a normal Python or Golang method to read file. And it's read the file from the file system. This is the first fundamental building block of something like Cursor or any of these coding agents. So here we go. We got like, I have a main, but I'm not a lion. I have 4 legs, but I'm not a table. I can gallop, but I'm not running. People say I'm disagreeable because I always say nay. What am I? So it's just read the file from the file system. It's automatically copy and pasted the riddle It set it off for inferencing, and the next result is it solved the riddle. And on time, this is where it gets cool, folks, because all coding agents have a list file tool, because the LLMs have no idea what files are on the file system. So it advertises a capability to run ls to enumerate files in the file system. And then once it knows about what files are on the file system, and then it would just like, well, I need a read file tool. This is the read file tool I showed, which solves the riddle. So we're on to our second capability. The next capability is a bash tool. LLMs have no capability to actually execute bash or run commands on your computer. And that does exactly what the sticker says on the tin. It executes a command and automatically copy and paste the output back to the LLM, and the LLM makes the decision what the next turn's going to be. And it has an edit file tool. Once you've done that, you've got the holy trifecta, everything you need to actually build a coding agent. It's literally 300 lines of code. I don't know why everyone out there, when a new coding agent comes out, gets completely glazed over by something that is so simple. This is the new fundamental. This is what's now needed to get interviews at companies, at top tier companies, is this knowledge. If you're a senior engineer, you should be able to explain it very clearly and very in depth and draw a sequence diagram. Because if we come back over here and we go run. Hey mate, can you like create me a FizzBuzz up? Ooh. Go run bash. Cool. Hey mate, can you generate me a FizzBuzz application in like Python and then execute this? It must FizzBuzz 1 to 100. Yeah, do the thing. And you've got now have a coding tool. Cool. It's created the file and now it's executed the file. This is all it is. This is the big scary boogeyman. This is the fundamentals. The same way you should know your data structures, you should know this and be able to explain it on a sequence diagram, because this is now fundamental knowledge for interviewing. This is developing in different areas and segments of society faster, but this is happening. And please, folks, go build your own agent. Like, I want to see more people having this skill, because this is what employers are looking for hires these days. Thank you.
Yeah, today I want to introduce you to the concept of flake IDs. Flake IDs are kind of IDs you often generate beforehand, before you insert your data in database. And what they share in common is a certain amount of bits for your timestamp. That's often higher bits, some amount of bits for your node ID, basically unique identifier of your ID generator, and some kind of sequence that increments with every ID. Yeah. Yeah, if you are thinking about UID version 7, you'd be absolutely right, because that's essentially what we over the years ended up with. That's our ultimate solution to flake IDs. But before that, we had a lot of different takes on flake IDs. If you somehow remember MongoDB, do you remember MongoDB? Yeah, they had object ID, which is essentially UID version 7, but squeezed down to 12 bytes. But before, there are many other attempts, but why such IDs got flake name in it? Because Twitter Snowflake, do you remember Twitter? Yeah, basically those guys ended up squeezing all this information, timestamp, node ID, and sequence into 64-bit that fits into your database. And yeah, but in comparison to object ID and UIDs, it has a fundamental flaw. And in comparison to your regular sequential IDs, you still have to make a round trip to certain central server to generate your IDs. If you are dealing with a lot of data, that's often not a great idea, because like, extra round trip, extra latency, you got the idea. And there was a company, well, it is company, Sony. They invented their own flake ID called Sony Flake. It's essentially the same idea, but they eliminated central server from this equation. And the way how they guarantee your IDs never collide is to strictly bind to your time. And that's a fundamental limitation of such kind of IDs. So believe it or not, I encountered this limitation on my own projects, and I went on a trip to implement my own version take on Flake IDs. It's essentially the same Flake IDs, but there is a twist at generator level. We consume much more node IDs, which essentially doubles our output the more we IDs add. Yeah, you can go it with Python Flake Turbo, because Turbo sounds good, better. Yeah. Anyway, one more reason why would you want such kind of IDs? It's prevention of insecure direct object reference attack. Sounds complicated, but essentially that's basic brute force when some kind of crawler, often man-made or AI-made nowadays, just enumerates all your, for instance, articles or whatever you have on your site, and basically will be able to scrape it. But scraping is not really a huge problem right here, right? Because sometimes we have problems with authorization system, and this often comes in B2B application where we have not so strict control, or in teams with low culture. Sometimes you might post on random ID some data and get successful reply, which is not so good. With Flake IDs, we eliminated this problem, and yeah, that's what's cool about it. But remember, that's not a substitute for proper authorization solution. And a few words. One more stuff. If you are practicing DDD or CQRS, Flake IDs are also a good idea, because according to this practice, it would be better to have your IDs on hand so you can reference other entities before you insert them, which is also kind of reduce pains in the ass. So, and a few words about this particular library I made. You might not be interested in this ID shenanigans at all, but this is a great example you can use as something to copy homework from, because it includes C extension models that are optional. They fall back to pure Python implementation on stuff like PyPy and so on. There's fully fledged build pipeline. Yeah, if you ever did some coding on Windows, there's also Windows version with MS3C that doesn't use Win32 API, pure libc. Yeah, and yeah, whatever. And there is async support built in. Yeah. Library is very small. That's why I would like to recommend to use for you as homework to copy. Because, for instance, if you try to implement optional extension models in your project, you will start looking at another project, and one of such projects would be AO HTTP. They have speed up parsers, but have you seen their build system? Yeah, using such small library as example would jumpstart your C extension models in your projects, maybe. Yeah, and yeah, that's pretty much it.
All right, we've had some great talks today. We learned how GitHub can save your job, how cryptography can save really anything, your retirement savings, your investment. What I'm about to tell you could save your life. What happens when you fall into a raging river? Right? You haven't thought about it, right? So what we have here, this is our river, right? It's this area down here. Right now, it's 1 meter deep. So I'm floating. It's 1 meter deep. I'm starting to feel some rocks. What do you guys do? Stand up. Who agrees with stand up? You're all dead. What happens, because whitewater rivers tend to be rocky on the bottom. So you stand up, your foot goes between two rocks. What does the water do? It says, oh, I'm sorry, James, you're stuck. Let me give you a break. No, it just keeps pushing and pushing and pushing. So you have to hold your breath until the water level drops. Has anybody ever watched a river and seen the water level drop? I've seen the dam shut off, the hydroelectric power plant, and the water doesn't drop faster than I can hold my breath. It's problematic. So what do? I'm not going to tell you what not to do without telling you a positive thing. Nose and toes, right? Why do you have your toes on top of the water? Because then they're not on the bottom. Why do you have your nose on top of the water? It's the part that breathes, right? So it looks kind of like, can I kind of borrow this right here? Nose and toes, this position. What's the lowest thing in the water right now? It's padded. Where are my feet? Downstream and together. Don't float down like that. That can be very... And that frees up my arms for a little paddling, hopefully, to the shore. Somebody said, get out. That's what you want to do. Just don't stand up and get out. Second problem, where am I? Oh, lots of time. Cool. All right, all of a sudden, the hydroelectric dam has kicked on 2 more generators. We have 2 more meters of water right now. And this big rock, this podium-shaped rock, what's that doing? Water's hitting it, it's coming up, it's making a wave. Is that dangerous? Not really. Breathe at the top of the wave, not at the bottom, and you're fine. That's the easy part. Okay, one of the generators went off. Now the water is this deep. The water now is coming over, up and over, flowing down the backside. And it's quite flat behind here. And that's where it's dangerous. Everybody sees whitewater, they see the big waves, they see the rocks, they say, ooh, scary. That's fine. What happens here, the water comes down, it comes back up. There's a hole here, right? Part of it's gonna recirculate, part of it's gonna come downstream. What happens if you're in that circulating part? Has anybody ever stayed in your washing machine through the spin cycle? No hands, no? Am I missing anybody? It's dark in the corner. Nobody. It's really fun until, the whole holding your breath thing. It's not the oxygen, the lack of oxygen, it's the excess of carbon dioxide that really gets you. And that usually, with most of us, unless you've trained for free diving, that 30 seconds to a minute, it starts to burn. At 4 minutes, you start to risk brain damage, especially if it's warm water. So if you're going to drown, do it in cold water and do it when you're young, right? So if you see that, the thing you want to look for the line of separation. The thing you don't want to do, dams. Most dams, if they have water flowing over it, they'll create that. Look for that line of separation where here it's coming this way and here it's going that way. If you aren't quite confident that you can jump over that in your boat, stay away. Super dangerous. If you do get swept in and there's nothing you can do, curl up in the fetal position. And that sounds like crying for mom, which would be what I do. That also sinks you to the bottom because the water at the bottom is going out and back fast. And those are 2 tips, nose and toes, ball up, that could save your life. Thank you.
There's a thing called snapshot testing. Have you heard about it? Anyone? That's nice. I'm pretty sure there are libraries in Python for this. I don't have visual. Okay. Well, in JavaScript, there's a library called Jest. It's for testing JavaScript. If you thought the last talk was not about Python, well, this one is about JavaScript. So what is snapshot testing? You have a test. The test needs to compare to medium-sized JSONs. And what I've usually seen in Python, that you just have your bed sheets of Python with the JSON and comparing it to the hard-coded value. Snapshot testing moves that thing out to a file and then compares it with the file, shows the difference if it changed, and usually, at least in Jest, you have the option to automatically update the snapshot, and pretty convenient for testing. One of the things that makes snapshot testing difficult is things like timestamps. So if you have a unit test, it generates some row in the database. That database row has a date, and this date has, well, it changes. It usually prints the current date. What we would sometimes do is make, use freeze gun, freeze the time in one way or another. But there's actually an alternative to this, which it seems I will not be able to show. But it's called, at least in Jest, in JavaScript, it's called the property matcher. It's a special object-like value that evaluates, sometimes it evaluates to anything. It can evaluate to a thing of a particular structure. So for example, if you have an ID that is a random UID, you can have a property matcher that will match any UID. And then your snapshots don't change because your snapshot has the property matcher in it. And you don't have to update it each time you run the test. Well, wouldn't work anyways, so that's good. What we can do in Python we can write a class. I will actually attempt bravely to no. How do in Python we can write a class. We can use the special Python method __eq__, which is the special dunder method, which gets called when you compare two items. And basically, with 3 lines of code, you can get a property matcher in Python. So I will just show it. It's these 3 lines. I mean, sorry that it did not work out.